You are in the Temple of the Rants, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Jimmy Jojo Jr., who says, rant about how movie theaters suck. Not about how they're failing to compete with online platforms, but about how the actual theater-going experience is torture from start to finish. I don't know if I'd call it torture, and it really depends a lot on the theater. But yeah, I do think the theater-going experience is massively overrated, particularly if you're not in the ideal theater setting. Like, there was a theater that I went to in Rochester that had not only, like, reclining seats, it was in a huge ass room with a big ass screen, but the best part was there was these little walls where, like, each row of seats was like, there was like a wall between it and the next row, so you couldn't see the people below you. So, like, it was as though this wall went right up to the bottom of the screen, and it was just the screen that was visible. You couldn't see all the other people, so if people are playing on their phones and shit, you're not going to see that. That actually made it, like, worthwhile, but it was, pretty expensive to go see a movie under those circumstances. I appreciate the idea of going to see a movie as, like, a thing to do and ostensibly a better experience of the film. You get to see it nice and big with better sound, but that's not always the case. Like, a lot of the theaters I've been to, the sound quality sucks. They only come out of the front speakers. You don't really get the surround, or they don't have it loud enough, and, like, a lot of movies just aren't even mixed that well. So, like, I haven't had a lot of great sound experiences at movies. In fact, sometimes the sound is so bad that it just ruins the movie for me. The screen doesn't always look good. Sometimes you get those pale, kind of washed out screens. You get, some theaters, like, their walls aren't thick enough so you can hear the bass from the movie next to you over your movie. Or, like, I've been to theaters where they didn't quite have the picture aligned correctly, like it was slightly too low or something like that. Or, like, there's just too many lights. Like, because you've got the lighted walkways and the exit signs and stuff, and, like, I'm very easily distracted by bright lights, so, like, if I'm watching a dark movie and I see a bunch of lights, my eyes are going to be drawn to them. Sometimes the screen might even be dirty if you're at a real jank theater, but, like, all of that takes away from it, and then you have the audience who, inevitably, you're going to have people cracking jokes or talking over it or fucking on their phone with the fucking light distracting you, people who are just laughing at stuff that's not funny and pissing you off, babies crying. There's a lot of things that can make the theater experience just like, this is not better than watching it at my house. This is not better than watching it on a big TV with my own speakers, with my own environment. You can't smoke pot at a movie theater. You can't, like, some of them you can drink at, but not often. The food is expensive. You can smoke at a drive-in. Well,
drive-in is the optimum way to go.
Well, I've never been to a drive-in, but I imagine you don't pay that much attention to the movie at a drive-in, honestly.
You
But yeah, so it's like buying the food and all that sucks, but, like, I do like getting to see a movie on a big screen. Like, I enjoy the experience of getting to see, like, a great movie in a theater. Like, we've gone to, like, all the Ghibli showings and stuff like that, and whenever they bring an anime movie, you're not usually going to have a shitty crowd. It's a good excuse to just leave the house and go do something. I think that's, like, the most important part of it. Like, I know there's a lot of people who just prefer to never leave the house. I'm the type of person who wants every fathomable excuse to leave the house because there's so few of them. Like, I'm not somebody who, gets out much unless I find a reason to. So, like, if there's a good movie coming, it's like, hey, this is something we can do that will not be at home. And, I don't mind the cost so much. So, like, it's like a fun way to get out if it's a good movie. Going out to see a movie that's not great is definitely miserable. Feeling like you want to walk out of the theater. But, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm very divided on it. Like, going to see a movie at that one theater I described where, like, they had the recliners, they had the little dividing walls, like, it was super comfy, it was a great film experience. Like, if you can find a theater like that, I think it's worth it ultimately. if the movie is good. But like, I think the average theater is not worth it. The average theater is pretty shit, and we don't have any of those really exceptional ones around here that I know of. So like, for me, going out to a movie would mostly be either it's because I want to be able to talk about it, like the Pokemon one, Detective Pikachu. Like, I just thought it'd be a good idea to see it so I could have something to say, and I'm excited because it's Pokemon. And I thought it would be more fun to see it surrounded by people than to see it, by like I would probably never see it by myself. I just wouldn't put it on. But like seeing it in a theater, at least you have that spectacle of going to see an event piece, which I think is the main reason anyone goes to see movies anymore, is that they want to be a part of the conversation and they want to see a big spectacle event piece. And any movie that's not that might as well be on Netflix. So, but like I don't see most of those movies. So it's either that, which is rare for me, or because it's a Ghibli movie or some kind of anime movie that, this is the only opportunity you really have to see it in that context, and I appreciate it. So yeah, that's my movie theater review.